Hey MVPs, Rico Notes here. Going to talk to you guys about the next fight on the prelim card. It is Rafa Garcia versus Vinc Pichel. Rafa Garcia, minus 550 favorite. Okay, it started off as a minus 350. It's ballooned up to minus 550. I guess it's going to the moon, and that's very surprising. And then Vinc Pichel is a plus 375 underdog. 42-year-old Vinc Pichel taking the fight on short notice. If you go to Tapology and check, here you go. We have Joaquin Silva canceled, withdrew, and now Vinc Pichel is taking the fight, and Pichel's a 42-year-old dude stepping in. He's going to fight Rafa Garcia. Shout out to Rafa Garcia. He's from Mexicali, California, Baja California, right below California, right? Part of Mexico that I'm from, or at least my family's from. We used to go there in the summers with my stepfather, actually born and raised there. So very familiar with the area, very familiar with this upbringing. He trains with Cub Swanson from the same place I'm from. Shout out to the Coachella Valley and SoCal and in Cat City, Palm Springs, and Indio and all that area, right? So shout out to this crew. These are the type of dudes I grew up with. These are the type of dudes I know. And Vinc Pichel over here, he looks like one of my uncles. I'm not even joking. Shout out to my Uncle Yuli. Dude's got an impeccable mustache. So this is mi gente right here. This is my people. I'm saying all that to tell you that Rafa Garcia as a fighter, his nickname is Gifted, and I don't buy it, bro. Rafa Garcia just very, very limited. Very limited athlete. I think the first time we saw Rafa Garcia fight that I can vividly remember where I went, oh no, that's not the right guy, was when he was fighting Jakar Close. It was back in 2022. I think I was watching this fight with my father, and we were trying to cheer for one of our hometown dudes. Now, he looked terrible in that fight. And then he's been on a 2-fight winning streak since then until the Grant Dawson loss, okay? Everybody's losing to Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson's beating up all these dudes. Shout out to Grant Dawson. But they've been giving Rafa Garcia gifts, bro. And maybe it's because you train with Cub Swanson and they want to respect the gym. This dude's been fighting the elderly for a while. He fought Clay Guida. How old is Clay Guida, bro? Clay Guida's been fighting since 2002, I think. Clay Guida's 43, bro. When did Clay Guida start fighting? I promise you Clay Guida started fighting early 2000s. 2002 is what I said. Oh, it's 2004. I'm off by 2 years. My goodness. All right, this is who he beat. He beat this man. That man's been on a crazy losing streak, and he was going to fight Silva. So Rafa Garcia's been getting these little hand-me-down dudes. What do I see from Rafa? He's just a grappler. He's just tough. He gets some takedowns. It's going to matter in this fight. Pichel here has no takedown defense. None. You can sneeze and you're going to get a takedown. He doesn't know how to sprawl properly. He's tough. He knows how to fight, but he's got no takedown defense. Rafa's a limited athlete. He's still going to get the takedowns. These submissions, don't worry about these submissions. He hasn't submitted a guy in a while. Well, he submitted Jesse Ronson. I don't remember that fight. I personally don't remember it. It happened. But before that, it's all these on the regional scene is when he used to get the submissions. Now he goes out there and he's kind of one-dimensional. He'll frustrate you. Rafa Garcia is the equivalent of the Iowa offense. Like, he's the equivalent of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You wonder why you're not using your athletes. Why are we not throwing the ball? Why aren't we blocking properly? Why aren't we hitting these home runs? That's Rafa Garcia for you. One knockout in his life. So stop betting the knockout. Stop believing in any of that stuff. So how are you a minus 550 favorite if we're going to the scorecards? You're a minus 550 favorite going to those judges? I don't trust that shit at all. That's absurd. We're not doing this shit, bro. Okay? Now, Vinc Pichel, dude's old as dirt. Doesn't look good. Against Bonfim, at least he made it to the belt. He makes it to the belt a lot. The only lock in this fight is going the distance. That's what I believe. I believe these dudes are tough. They're going to go out there and they're going to make something happen. They're going to go the distance. But betting on Rafa Garcia, let me tell you guys something. I've watched Rafa for many, many, many years. Rafa Garcia has never looked like a minus 550 fighter in his life. Not in the greatest moments. I don't care where he's winning. Not in any of these fights. And these are terrible fights that have not been aging well. Like, when did Rafa look like a minus? It must have been before I ever heard of him. It had to be somewhere down here on the regional scene when he was fighting a cab driver. These odds are absurd. You can't bet them. They have Rafa Garcia by points, which is probably going to happen, right? He's going to get takedowns, win the rounds, theoretically. That's a minus 150. There's no value in that either. That's fucking insane. This is a ruined fight There's no way you can do that. You have to take Pichel. You have to. And you have to say Pichel by points. And it's a plus 550, or don't even get surgical with it and just say Pichel gets it done. You have to. Pichel's not a bad fighter. He can scrap. He's an old guy. He's a little slow. He's a little tough. But I'm telling you, this is not a minus 550 anywhere. You're setting yourself up for failure. If you're parlaying this, if you think he's going to win by XYZ, bro, we know this man doesn't finish fights. We know it. Pichel, I'm going to say this. This is a much easier fight for Pichel than it was Bonfim. This is a step down in competition for Pichel. Mark Madsen's not a good fighter, but Hubbard, Miller, all better fighters. Bonfim, Gillespie, Silva, all these guys are better fighters than Rafa. All of them. He's been fighting better guys than Rafa. I don't know if that equates to a win, but I hope it does. And obviously, for Rafa, this is a huge step down. He's not fighting Grant Dawson, a beast. But all these other dudes, they've been giving him gifts. Minus 550 is nuts. Shout out to Rafa Garcia if he wins the fight, but I don't think you can do that. Now, let me show you the card. For me, pick and choose wisely. For me, I'm on Vinc Pichel at plus 375. I'm on a lock it going the distance, and I understand if Garcia is winning by points, I'm putting it there as a lean. That's a minus 150. Remember, lean props are hitting at 50, almost 56%. Okay, the lock prop is at 42%. I hope I get it right. And then this is hitting at a 43%. Pick and choose wisely. Pick and choose yours wisely. I'm just telling you what the percentages are. You can apply what the odds are for these things. Remember, I don't know what go the distance pays out. We can check it. We go in here, go the distance. Yes, it's a minus 270, and I'm telling you it's a lock. Okay, that's something you would have to parlay on your own time. Minus 270 lock. Garcia by points minus 150, and then you've got a plus 375. You decide what value is important to you. Live with what you want. You don't have to bet on every fight. I got to pick every fight. But I'm telling you that Rafa Garcia has never been a plus 500 fighter in his life. Who is he fighting? Is he fighting his cousin? Is he fighting a little nephew? A drunk guy in a bar? Like, who's he fighting? Because not in the UFC. Minus 550, and we know he's not going to get the finish. We're going to judges' scorecards where they'll rob you. Recipe for disaster. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Good luck, MVPs.